Hello and welcome to Veggie Patch Ideas. Today it's all about what we're sowing and growing in August. As you can see, the dahlia bed has been an absolute success this year. I've got flowers everywhere. I'm a happy man. Let's get sowing some seeds. So first on the list is a good old favourite of mine. It's mixed lettuce, and we're outside today because one, it's glorious and we need to celebrate this, and two, the polytunnel is just far too hot to be sowing seeds. So outdoors it is, and the first one we've got for you is mixed red lettuce. Now I'll sow this now, and then this will go into the polytunnel or the low tunnel later on. It's going to take a month or so to get into its stride, and once it is, it can then get into the gaps in the polytunnel once the tomatoes have finished. So red lettuce, all year round lettuce, whatever you've got really, whatever does well in your soil, and you will find different ones do different. For example, if you've got a lot of slug damage, go with a red, which is what we have here, because it's the southwest of the UK, so it's always raining. And I find the red lettuce doesn't get affected by slugs half as much as other lettuces. So that one's in, and we'll keep the packet safe so it doesn't blow away, and we'll just mix up the soil, flat it down, and move on to the next one, which is Rocket. And if you're wondering why I'm not direct sowing these, I will be direct sowing some, but the direct sowings have absolutely failed this year, so I'm going to give them pretty much a wide berth, so everything in plugs, and then we know we've got a backup. If I direct sow later on, fine. If it doesn't germinate, we have backups. And that's the way I like to garden. Just ensure that you always have a crop, and you're not heading off down that garden centre for the walk of shame to buy some small plug plants. So here we go, some Rocket. Now this will germinate like a rocket. It will go fast. So we'll sprinkle that on, mix it round again, flatten down, doesn't need to be too perfect, and we'll put these on the pile to be watered. The floor. Now something else to sow in August is your kales. Now the one that you want to look for is your Nero, black Nero kale, and it looks like this. It's a very slim leaf, but these are bulletproof. These will go through any winter and keep on going. The kale I have here, they are getting eaten, but I've sowed a lot. I've got loads of different clumps, and these are good to go for a good few months yet. Now next up, we've got a few other favourites for you. Beetroot first, and this is a bolt hardy. It doesn't really matter what you sow this time of year. They are in little capsules, and each capsule holds a few seeds, believe it or not, and I'll put a couple per cell, and I've gone for the largest cells I can find, as you can see. Now the reason I've done this is simply it won't dry out as fast, and you can sow them in clumps. So put 3 or 4, 5 into each plug, pop them down. Now these, if you direct sow them, you've got a better chance, because these are quite a hardy plant. But I'm sticking to the plugs on everything this year. That's probably why it's good to follow this season's advice rather than last season's advice, because it's always changing, and we're going off the season and how it's been so far. So they're all in. Done. Now, next up we've got radish, and this is French radish. Again, everyone's screaming at the TV, direct sow. I will with the radish, but I'll also do a few plugs. And it looks like the beetroot has a few escapees, so thinning those out will be fun. But the plants look totally different, so I'm not too concerned. So we can go with radish. And then if you are a follower of this channel, and if you are, thank you very much, and your time is appreciated. And if not, subscribe now, it's dead easy. Right, we're on to Bright Lights Chard, and this is by far the most prettiest plant on the allotment, apart from my dahlias. But in the winter, when everything is grey and horrible, miserable, Bright Lights Chard just makes you that little bit happier. And again, these seeds, they are pretty much exactly the same as beetroot seeds. So they're big, chunky, you won't lose them. And these will go outside and in the polytunnel. There you go. And if you have subscribed, do me a favour, just make sure your notification bell is on. YouTube have changed the algorithm a little bit, so you're not getting notified when I'm uploading, which is a pain, because you'll miss out and I'll miss the views, and you know, we all want views. Right, so let's mix these all in. If you don't know what a notification bell is, it's just a little bell when you subscribe next to the name. So right, here we go. Push all these down. Not too far. So the chard, these are all going to take a month or so, even longer to germinate. That's why we're doing them now, and we're looking for the future. We're looking for when we're coming into autumn, everything's a little bit miserable, and we think, what do we sow? We get in on the action early and we're in a better place. So let's put this on the watering pile. I'm also going to be sowing some carrots, and here's some I did last month, towards the middle of last month. And these are the carrots, and we've got this very fine, ultra fine shade netting on here, so the slugs can't get in and start doing their damage. The ones I sowed direct into the ground, well, they got mullered, end of story. Luckily, we did a few different things. We did one in a container with the netting on, and I grew carrots in plugs. Now this was my preferred method because you never fail. The plugs have got mature and now they're strong enough to fend for themselves. They're in this hoop nest tunnel just to stop the remainder of the carrot root fly. They are not so prevalent this time of year, but they are still about, so they're in there cooking away nicely, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have carrots in the autumn. The last few months, you know, I tried out this mustard ruby streak. It did bolt. It went hot and then it went cold again. So as we're going into cold weather, and it's pretty much guaranteed cold weather after September, I'm hoping this will do well and be in its stride by then. So I'm just doing 2 lines of these. They're a tiny, tiny seed. And there goes one seed packet. Don't worry, I'll recover it. So that's the ruby streak chard. Mustard, sorry, ruby streak mustard. And all the links will be down in the description for you on what I use and varieties, before you ask. Right. So next up, we've got spinach. and this is Apollo F1 in case you're interested. I have a few different spinaches and I will sow these at different times, but essentially different ones will do different things, and it depends on your soil type, area, heat. But I've got Gigantor, which did terrible last winter. Sowing it now might work. You just got to keep trying different ones, find out what works for your environment and stick with it if it's a good doer. So let's stick these in. And again, cover up. You can sprinkle some dirt over the top if you're not confident with pressing them down and just a little way. You only need a bit of soil over the top. Generally these seed trays are quite big and heavy, so there's enough soil in there already. And after you've watered, if they are coming to the top, you can just press them again and water over again. Right, so let's get rid of the spinach. And we're moving into my nemesis, if you remember back. We're going for Pak Choi. I know it's warm, but it's the time of year to start, and I will just continue on these. Now it looks like this packet is out, but I've got 10 good seeds, so I'm going to do one line. And cross everything. Right, put these on the watering pile and we'll water them in. And something else you can have a go at, it's those beautiful onions. And we started ours off early, but the onion Stuttgart, they have started to germinate and they are in and going. You still have time. A polytunnel this time of year is not the best place to keep them. These are in here and it's just got warm. I need to move them to a shady spot. I want to get them all germinated first, keep them out of the heat, and then when it starts to cool down, we'll start bringing them back into the polytunnel. Guys, and don't forget we have a newsletter. It's every month and it's just your sowing guides for the month. It's really simple, no spam, and it's what you need. And it's especially there for when you forget to watch one of my videos. Guys, thanks for watching. You are truly appreciated. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you like this sort of content and you want to grow a small plant with a massive harvest, watch this video coming up next. It's really good and I guarantee you'll be sowing.